Namaskar, this is Akhilesh Bhargava. Welcome to tit-bits on business and finance with me. To state the very obvious, and we are all seeing that the state of the government finances is pathetic at the moment. Tax collections have been dipping, they are far below the target. GST collections in the months of April and May have been 55% below their targets. And the advance tax installment for the month of June saw a dip of a stunning 74% in income tax collections. The government is, of course, desperate to fill its coffers, and with no income coming around to be taxed, the economy contracting, the focus is now obviously shifting from taxing income to taxing what we spend. In other words, taxing our expenditure. It is because of this reason that in the recent GST Council, where there was a widespread demand that on certain items the rate of GST must be cut. For example, the auto sector has been demanding a GST rate cut, but the government refused to do that for the simple reason that the focus is obviously now on taxing what we spend. And in this, the focus that has really come on, the point that has now come in the spotlight is taxing off diesel and petrol, which is taxing our expenditure on fuel. The government started this round of raising revenue out of diesel and petrol prices first by increasing the duty that we pay on petrol and diesel. And this has been happening at a time, let me tell you, when global crude oil prices are extremely low. And at this point of time, ironically, we are paying some of the highest prices for petrol and diesel in the world. So coming back, the government's revenue that it is trying to raise from sale of diesel and petrol, that exercise started by raising excise duty first. It raised excise duty on diesel and petrol by 3 rupees a litre sometime in the first week of March 2020 to start with. It then followed it up with an increase in the duty that we pay on petrol and diesel by 10 rupees a litre in case of petrol, and in diesel 13 rupees a litre sometime on 5th of May 2020. Thus, because of this, the duty that the government levies on petrol, on the base price of petrol, is a 260%, which is a shocking rate. And in the case of diesel, the duty that the government levies on the base diesel price is 256%. Just for the sake of comparison, the rate of such duty in Germany is 65%. In Italy, it is 62%. In UK, it is 45%. And in Japan, it is a mere 20%. In India, the duty that the government levies on petrol is 260%. Because of this increase in excise duty on petrol and diesel that was effected in March and May, the total revenue that the government expects to raise is about 2 lakh crores. And while initially the government raised the duty on petrol and diesel, now it has started raising the price of petrol and diesel that we pay. For the last 21 days consecutively, the government has been raising the price of diesel and petrol that we pay at the pump on a daily basis, such that over a 3-week period, the price of petrol has gone up by 9 rupees 10 paise a litre, and in the case of diesel, it's gone up by 11 rupees 12 paise a litre. That's the kind of increase that the government has effected in the prices of petrol and diesel. As we said, these are stark revenue raising measures of the government. Ironically, in the month of February, when global crude oil prices were $55 a barrel, the price of petrol in Delhi was about 69 rupees a litre. And now, when the global prices have fallen to about $37 a barrel, what we are paying is 80 rupees plus a litre of petrol in Delhi. It is much more in cities like Mumbai. A rough and ready calculation says that for every 1 extra rupee that we pay for the price of diesel and petrol, whether because of an increase in excise duty or simply because the government chooses to increase the price of diesel and petrol, for that every extra rupee that you and I pay, the government revenues go up by 14,500 crores. Therefore, Because of this price rise that the government has effected for 21 consecutive days, the government's revenues, the government's funds will increase by over 1.5 lakh crores. This represents badly needed revenue that the government needs. Its treasury is empty, it needs to shore it up. The question is, how did a government, which claims that it has been improving the ease of doing business in India such that it will attract investments into the country, which claims that it has been continuously pursuing a reforms agenda in order to make India an attractive investment destination, which further claims that it has set a target for the Indian economy to be a 5 trillion GDP in 2024, and for which it says it is fervently working, and which last year pruned corporate tax rates to 15% in order to again make India an attractive investment destination. How did such a government fail so utterly in managing its finances, in ensuring that public finances are strong and macros now depleting? How did such a government come to a situation where it is at a dead end, where it is now resorting to its last desperate measure of raising revenue by taxing, by charging higher prices for fuel? According to us, this position of the government taxing fuel, raising fuel prices, only is a continuation of all the patchy and ad hoc key initiatives that it has implemented in the past. It shows a lack of a strategy on the part of the government in all the key initiatives that it had initiated. It shows a lack of any precise strategy or planning by the government, and that is why it is at a dead end today. All the key initiatives that the government took for increasing taxes, for making India a better destination, according to us, have failed in the past, and that is now reflected on this fuel price hike that we are watching. The government, according to us, failed to read the tea leaves correctly, and to a certain extent, perhaps, it got fooled by its own doctored statistics in believing that all was good, whereas all was not good. For the simple reason, if growth was receding for 11 consecutive quarter after quarter, something was wrong, and the government, for some strange reason, to us a very political reason, refused to accept that its policy initiatives were not working. And what were those initiatives? What were those key measures which have failed, because of which the government today is being forced to raise prices of petrol and diesel that we pay? Let's look at them. In 2016, the government came up with an income declaration scheme. It was meant to unearth black money. And government experts claimed at that point of time that revenues, because of this scheme that it has come up with, the government tax collection will go up by at least over 1,25,000 crores. Nothing like that happened. It was a badly implemented scheme, and the only tax that the government collected was just 30,000 crores against a figure which was much expected to be higher. Then came demonetization again in 2016. By the government's own admission in the Supreme Court, the government said that at least 5 lakh crores will not come back into banks, and that represented a demonetization dividend for the government. The government also at that point of time claimed that a number of persons are going to be caught with cash that they are not going to be able to explain, and they will be forced to pay heavy taxes and penalty, and that estimate was also 3 lakh crores. Nothing like that happened. All the cash came back to the government virtually, to the banks virtually. Just about 10,000 crores did not come back, and no such 3 lakh crores ever got collected by the government because of demonetization cash that it said is not going to be explained by taxpayers. Then came IBC, the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code in 2017. The government said that the IBC is going to be the solution for NPAs, and it will help banks to recover all those bad loans which are outstanding. That also did not work. IBC has failed to deliver, and the banks have not been able to make the kind of recovery that the government said that they would be able to make. The next initiative that was a failure was GST. GST, we call it a failure from the angle of tax collection. The government had admitted that in the first couple of years, the tax collections will dip, but thereafter they would shoot up. Nothing like that has again happened, and GST collections, as we said, have not met their targets. In the month of April and May, of course, because of the lockdown, they were down by 55%. While all this was going on, the government strengthened the Income Tax Act even further. Draconian measures came in. Coercive recovery was the order of the day, and so was penalty and prosecution, all in order to ensure that tax collections by way of income tax shoot up. Nothing like that again happened. The tax collections of the government were not able to actually meet the target for financial year 2018, 2019 and 2020 also, despite all these heavy prosecution initiatives that the government got in. And finally, yet another key initiative of the government, which is disinvestment, never really took off. And that is symbolized the best by the way Air India has never got sold. At the very inception, when Air India was put on the block, the government thought that it would get 50,000 crores on sale of Air India. That again never took off, and this investment was actually an utter failure. What did that result in? What did all these failed key initiatives of the government result in? It resulted in, first, according to us, a fast disinvestment. In order to raise resources, the government forced one PSU to buy another. ONGC was forced to buy HPCL for 37,000 crores. Dredging Corporation of India was bought by ports for about 1100 crores. And the Power Finance Corporation was forced to buy REC for 14,500 crores. This was a fast disinvestment. One pocket of the government putting money into another. And in reality, the government's finances never really got strengthened. Further, in order to now make for the failed finances that it never got, the government was compelled to raid the Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India was forced to give 1,72,000 crores to the government, and that is according to us because all other measures that we discussed had failed and the government badly needed funds. Further, in order to shore up its finances, in order to provide for funds, the government also withdrew over 1 lakh crores from the National Small Savings Funds, whose objective is not to fund the government in this manner, but the government yet did that. The government then compelled the likes of LIC to pump over 55,000 crores in the bankrupt IDBI Bank in order to revive it. It put its onus on others, and that also happened when the government kept borrowing in the name of PSUs and it kept using that money only to manage the budget, and that's because all the key initiatives to raise funds had failed. The result of all this is what we are seeing now, fuel price hike. The fuel price hike reflects the failure of the government, and that's because its policies have been ad hoc, patchy, and according to us, impulsive and unplanned. That's been the case with the announcement of the lockdown also. And because of that, the government seems to have no strategy on how to lift the lockdown. Moody's rightly commented when they pulled down India's credit rating, and it said the primary reason is governance. According to us, the fuel price hikes that we are seeing is yet another instance of failed governance in India in the matter of managing public finances. This is Akhilesh Bhargava signing off till we meet again. Namaskar.
हमारे घरों में भी बच्चे होते हैं जो हमसे प्यार दुलार की आस करते हैं।
हमारा भी जीवन साथी है जिसको हमारे ड्यूटी से घर आने का इंतजार होता है।
हमारे घर में भी एक बूढ़ी माँ है जिनके लिए आज भी हम ही आंखों के तारे हैं।
लेकिन हम हमारे घरों में नहीं है। आपकी सुरक्षा में कोई कसर न रहे, इसलिए हम अपने प्रियजनों से दूर है।
हम में से ही कुछ तो अब इतने दूर जा चुके हैं कि वो वापस अपने घरों को लौट भी नहीं पाएंगे।
हमें गर्व है कि हमारे कंधों पे मुंबई शहर के नागरिकों की सुरक्षा की जिम्मेदारी है। हमारे जज्बे और बलिदान को व्यर्थ न जाने दे। इस संकट के समय में आप घर पे रहे, सुरक्षित रहे।
Now be the first to know about the latest updates on our new news app. Go on your Android or iOS, search for HW News Network. Download our app, choose the language you prefer to get updates in, and be up to date with the latest news.
If you like this video, please share it and we would love to hear your comments in the comments section down here. Also, please do like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter to get minute-to-minute news updates. For more such shows and videos, well, subscribe to our YouTube channel.